following episode contains explicit content. You've been warned.
Their stock prices actually fell, and they lost a shit ton of money over it.
Because of that tweet?
Because of that tweet. And to the point, like their house of cards just fucking went down. and it got to the point.
Everybody wants to be something they're not and have shit they ain't got. Don't be a dick.
Oh, what's up, buddy? We are finally back to our normal remote episodes. However, I will say that it was fun when we actually got to record in the hotel. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. That was a nice experience.
It was a very cool experience. I enjoyed that immensely, despite being, exhausted.
I liked that we were sitting in, like, a really comfortable... No, they were sort of comfortable, but, it was like...
They looked more comfortable.
They looked more comfortable than they were. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But that was nice to be kind of a little more chill.
Mm-hmm.
Low lighting, next to a bed with you.
Well, I mean, we did not take advantage of the super sweet hotel room to film our first OnlyFans video, and I keep kicking myself for that.
I know,
but I mean, I wouldn't have been able to perform all that well, honestly. I was just that tired.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe in the future we will film our first OnlyFans episode live from a hotel room.
Oh, that's not a maybe. That's a 100.
150. So before we get into the whatever stories you got, because I want you've been leading off for that's kind of the trend that we got going. I want to let everybody know that we do try to practice what we preach and try to hold ourselves accountable. At least I do. Last week I was on the road for, I guess, one too many days, and I may or may not have taken my frustration out on people or a person singular that didn't deserve it.
No. What do you mean?
Well,
are you trying to tell me you're a human?
Well, yeah, I am a human, but I try to not let my emotions rule how I feel and respond to situations. And I failed. I failed to acknowledge that negativity and that frustration building up until it just kind of overflowed. And it was directed at somebody that had nothing to do with the situation. It wasn't a fast food worker or anything like that. It was actually a colleague. Which I don't know if that makes it worse or better, but well, yeah, it was definitely me doing the exact opposite of the mission statement of this podcast. I was totally a dick.
Yeah, man.
And I have reached out and apologized, and I plan on making a nice little olive branch gift with the laser cutter.
Very nice. I think that it's better. I mean, it's not good. It happens, all right? So we almost have to say it happens.
Yeah.
But it's better that it's someone that you have a chance to talk to again instead of just sometimes a total random person.
Yeah.
Because there's no potential there for a patch up.
Yeah.
And
I got you.
They could just take it however they want, and it could ruin their whole day.
Well, I will say that it was again that was the last day of a 9-day road run, and I was ready to go home, and I was burnt out, and I just again didn't control myself.
I was there. I know.
Yeah.
I saw you. Look. I saw you fucking burning that candle. I saw I saw those muscles, those veins coming out when you were breaking all that shit down. I knew that you were running off of a fuel source that was like fast burning and very powerful, but it wasn't going to last long.
It lasted a little while longer than just the breakdown because, again, stacking shit on shit.
Yeah.
Chrissy had texted me literally as we were still playing the show, but I didn't see it until after we finished the show, that she went to do laundry and our shit pipe was clogged, and we had water backed up into the tubs. So as soon as I got home, which we were just 40 minutes from the house, but as soon as I got home, first thing I didn't even I changed out of my show clothes, but still got eyeliner and all that on. And it's now cold as hell out here.
Mhm.
I go out to the woodshed. I go get the shovel and I dig out the sewer line and break it loose just so that the tubs will drain. And then the following day, I ended up being out there for like 4 hours trying to get a hose it's called a Drain King. And what it is it looks like a big rubber dildo with a brass tip on it that expands when you put water in it. And it high pressure jet that blows out whatever's in the way. Well, it turns out it's a root system towards the end of our shit pipe. And I got it cleared. But yeah, stacking shit on shit after a shit run.
Yeah,
So I was just,
well, like that's how the universe works. I think it's like, oh, you can't handle this little thing. Well, what about this thing? What about this one?
stack,
what about that
stack,
one? What
stack,
about that
stack,
one?
stack,
How about this, and this right now?
That's not the stacks on stacks I was hoping to be walking away with after this week.
No.
That week, man. So yeah, like I said, guys, we are all human beings, and it just because I handled that situation poorly doesn't mean that I acknowledged it. And then I went back to the person again. I felt really bad the whole drive home, and I text that person immediately as soon as I got home, and I was just like, yeah, I'm sorry that I blew up at you, and I'm sorry that I took my frustration out on you. There's no excuse for that. You totally didn't deserve it.
All right, man. Like, dude, that's to me, that's the biggest thing because you didn't take it as like you didn't get more progressively more and more self-righteous about it like a lot of people do. Like, well, they're not even aware of it. They're just like feeling bad about it, but they're feeling bad about it for a different reason, but they pretend to themselves that that it's the thing that caused it. And they just deepen that groove of like, oh no, you. But taking that fucking thing to be like, no, it's a little bit of this, but it's me mainly right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's like, that's the biggest thing, man.
Well,
I always feel better when I can do that, you know?
Yeah. Again, I feel better about it. And I'll be seeing that person before too long anyway. So again, I have a gift to try to make amends for, again, being a douche. So,
sweetie pie.
But now that announcement's out of the way, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Jackson, what you got for us this week?
What's like the first song that comes to your head when you think of Florida?
I mean, honestly, it's like a day to remember. The city of Ocala.
Okay. Are they from Florida?
Yes, they are.
All right. Well, I don't know. I was just thinking we need like an intro
for
this segment. Hold on. Somehow,
it would be
another, my computer's dying, and it had like a full battery when I sat down, earlier before. Yeah. So let me pause real quick.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll be right back with Florida Man.
Totally newbie move here. All right. So the shit coming out of Florida for the past, several weeks has always been like murder, theft, drugs.
Murder.
But listen here, guys.
It's for the greater good.
Yeah. But now the senior fucking citizens down there, they're marching to a whole different drum because a Florida man, 89 years old, fought off wild hogs on his front porch that were coming after him and lived to smile about it. So he was trying to get out of his house to walk his dog, and what did he hit him with? They were on his front porch, like attacking him. They jumped on him, and then one of them grabbed the dog, and he hit him with the flashlight. He was hitting him with the flashlight. Then his wife comes out and scared the animals away.
I hope it was a mag light, something like a solid light.
Dude was 89. You know, he's probably had that mag light for like 40 years.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, and to make it even better, the typical old guy move is to be like, we need to do something needs to be done about this
hog situation.
Yeah, and they're going to build a fence around the whole neighborhood. Woo!
I mean, hogs can be very proficient diggers, so I'm not sure how much research they did into that.
I didn't think about that either.
I mean, well, pigs slash hog, derivative of a hog, they use those to hunt for truffles. I mean, and pigs dig shit up. So I don't know how effective a fence is going to be, but it's a great excuse
to
make the community get the community together to put up a fence.
Well, and it's a nice.
That's going to raise property values.
Yeah, when it's a nice gesture, you know what I mean. I don't know if that was already in the works, but that's pretty. That's a good. I think there's a good resolve to the story down in Florida.
Well, yeah. Again, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying it's like maybe this 89-year-old dude just had a plan. He's just like, yeah, we're gonna stage this fake hog attack.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot.
There's that conspiracy. Hey,
I've been listening to a lot of conspiracy episodes recently with the new podcast. It's called Macroaggressions, and it has got my mind turning. But we won't get into conspiracy theory. Well, maybe some of the conspiracy theories, but we're not going to dive deep into anything today. What was this guy's name? The Florida man of the week.
You ask me this every time, and I try to guess.
Old man Wilkinson.
All right. Barton Kaplan.
Kaplan?
I didn't have that at all. Barton Kaplan.
Again, Cletus, whatever.
Cletus.
Mr. Florida Man of the Week, we salute you for defending yourself and your dog. Did the dog survive, by the way?
Yes. Yeah, it was good.
Okay. Thank God.
It was all the way around good.
Okay.
Until them hogs start digging, then I'll get another story.
We'll get another story. Oh, those hogs are now going to have a vendetta against this poor bastard.
Mm-hmm.
So we salute you, Mr. Florida Man of the Week. And moving right along, again, this is not a necessarily a conspiracy topic yet. But once I get into it, I think you'll see why some people I haven't heard anybody. There's no active conspiracy theory that I am aware of regarding this story. However, I'm waiting for the conspiracy theories to start creeping up because there's some sketchy shit right here. So, Oklahoma setting the stage, which, by the way, the Clintons, Bill Clinton, governor of Oklahoma, way back in the Dizzy, 4 people killed in Oklahoma marijuana farm hostage situation were executed, officials say. Authorities have a suspect in mind after 4 people were found dead and 1 injured at a marijuana farm in rural Oklahoma, but no arrests have been announced. The bodies were found after authorities responded to a reported hostage situation on the farm. Now, for a tiny bit of background information, medical marijuana is legal in the state of Oklahoma since 2018.
Okay.
So unlike Bama, they can actually smoke their weed for their cataracts and their glaucoma. So growers are you're allowed to grow as long as you're providing the marijuana to dispensaries.
Okay.
And then you have to have a prescription to get your weed.
Right.
So just to clarify all that. Now, again, 4 people dead, 1 shot, no named suspect, nobody in custody. And here's the peculiar thing about this story. So 3 men and 1 woman, all Chinese nationals, were executed. So these are Chinese immigrants. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't come here illegally. I'm not saying that they didn't run their farm legally. I'm saying that it's mighty weird that this situation got to the point where 4 people were executed, another was shot, and then they still don't have a suspect.
It is really weird. So let me get this clear. So you're saying that the Chinese nationals were the growers,
Yes.
and they had 4 people, just 4 Oklahoma people, or just random people?
Just no, 4 Oklahoma people. According to Captain Stan Florence of the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, for those of you that don't know, each state has their own version of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So Alabama has the ABI, Alabama Bureau of Investigation.
Right. Yeah.
Georgia, GBI, Oklahoma, OBI. Captain Stan Florence said they all knew each other, don't know if they're related or if they're coworkers, but certainly these individuals were, we believe, all familiar with each other. So, again, weird. The injured person, who is also a Chinese national, was airlifted to an Oklahoma City hospital. Next of kin notifications are pending, police said, because of a significant language barrier. At this point, they don't have a suspect in mind. We have no information specific to be able to share at this point.
What the fuck?
The suspect was inside that building for a significant amount of time before the executions began. Based on the investigation thus far, this does not appear to be a random incident.
So some cartel stuff or what?
I don't know. In March, however, voters will decide whether to legalize the recreational use of marijuana in the state of Oklahoma. Now, this is a pot farm. So maybe this was just a family dispute. Maybe it was a disgruntled employee. Maybe it was the owner losing his shit because somebody was sneaking a couple nugs out and selling them on the side.
Yeah, that's what that was like. My first thought was like Oklahoma kids like coming up in there trying to get some either people from inside sneaking it out or someone stealing.
It's just weed, though. I mean, but then that here's where the conspiracy side of me comes in. So you have multiple angles you can take with this conspiracy side. Chinese nationals that obviously apparently don't speak much English because there's, again, a language barrier. But we're talking China, which is on the rise, America, which is slowly on the downward turn as far as economics goes.
All right.
And we know that the CIA has spies everywhere in other countries and CIA assets. Same thing with China. Now, are they slowly starting to engross themselves into American culture and become familiarize themselves with American culture to the point where it'll be easier for them to start insinuating their opinions into American society?
Potentially, yeah. I could see that angle.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, so there's that. And then there's also, you brought up the cartel angle, but I mean, maybe they were selling more than just weed.
Potentially.
I mean, if they may have been a way station, you got 10 acres of land where they're growing nothing but marijuana. But again, you have the packaging and distribution. If you're already transporting marijuana and you have paperwork for it, the drug dogs aren't going to, I don't know if drug dogs can tell the difference between weed and coke and heroin and fentanyl and ecstasy. That's something I may need to do a little bit more research on, but I mean, maybe they're doing some smuggling as well.
I mean, it's not outside of the scope of.
I mean, I've seen Ozark.
Curiosity.
Okay? I've seen Ozark, and that show is all about smuggling and laundering money. So yeah, I think it's curious and peculiar that these are all Chinese nationals, and it could be not a conspiracy at all. It could just be the story is exactly what it appears to be.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, anytime that the news says anything, I'm just like, yeah. What's the other angle on this?
Yeah,
there's got to be something else.
What's the reality of this?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the CIA off these people. Maybe they found out that they actually were spies.
Yeah, and they were like, it's convenient that they're Chinese, so we can demonize.
Again, really weird. Really weird.
Because we don't really. I mean, I'm going to say this treading on dirty ice here, but I mean, it's quick. We're quick to be like, fuck Chinese people. Americans are on the reg. Or we don't think of them as like our friend. I'll put it that way. Like as a nation, not like my Chinese neighbor. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like it's easy to be like, yeah, these Chinese people, these other people.
I understand that. Yeah. And
so potentially, yeah, CIA may have been like, yeah, we can use this.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's all I got for that story. Outside of, another conspiracy theory in the future would be, something to talk about would be, the war on drugs, which is just a massive excuse to privatize the importation of illicit substances for the CIA's gain to fund their black operations.
Right. So
off the books. So what do you got? What do you next? Moving on.
You may have heard of this.
Away from
people at home may have heard of this, but I just want. There's so many things in this that I find just amazingly awesome. So you've got the whole Elon Twitter deal, correct? Right, and all the weird little turmoils that have been going on over there, or as we call them, turmoil. They're really not fucking turmoils in my opinion. They're just kind of like whatever.
Bullshit.
Place is a shit pool anyways, so it's like whatever. But the whole pay $8 and get the blue check. Mm-hmm. Heard about that?
Yeah.
So, did you hear about Eli Lilly?
No.
The big drug company that provides mainly their two main drugs are Prozac and insulin.
Oh,
Did you hear about it?
Well, no, I'm familiar with Eli Lilly in that respect because of the insulin price gouging that they've been doing.
Yeah. Well, someone managed to masquerade as Eli Lilly on Twitter, verified, and made a simple short post that said, it just said like, I'm not quoting him, but it's like, by the way, we just wanted to tell everyone insulin is free now.
Ah.
And, seemingly like, I mean, it's something that they would never say, obviously, to like, most people would be like, yeah, whatever. But their stock prices actually fell and they lost a shit ton of money over it.
Because of that tweet?
Because of that tweet. And to the point, like their house of cards just fucking went down. And it got to the point to where it forced them to address themselves after they got their shit together that the insulin is way overpriced.
Yeah.
And I just thought that is the funniest thing that I've heard in a long time, like on so many levels. Like
that's some good karma. I wonder if somebody in Twitter was responsible for like verifying that user, but they did it in conjunction knowing that user was not actually Eli Lilly and that they were going to be trolling.
It could, I mean, I could have been, but I mean, I would think, hell, maybe it was one of them that was about to quit or lose their job, I
mean, honestly, I wouldn't put it past Elon Musk personally to do that, just to troll Eli Lilly and just be like, look, if you'd have paid the $8 for this blue check mark.
Yeah.
And, but also,
well, it's my understanding that people have been able to like get verified. Like I get verified as me, but then I can change my name somehow, which doesn't really make sense. If you're getting verified, it would seem like you'd have to go through like a 2-step name change or something.
Yeah.
Once you've been, well, I don't know though, but I just think that's so funny because it really goes to show like we typically walk around thinking that we don't have like, oh my God, it'd be so hard to change, quote unquote, change the world in this way or that way. But like a fucking stupid little tweet did that, and it's like
cost this company millions of dollars.
and it goes to show like, no, it's Wizard of Oz shit, and like there really is potential, for if we ever did just agree on something, like, oh no, we could just flick the little house and it will just start fucking coming down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's just a small dent, but like, it's like, oh no, it kind of like unmasks them a little bit.
I want to do a deep dive on this, and maybe I'll send you a briefing after I finish my research on the Federal Reserve. But it's not just the Federal Reserve; it's just a tangled web of financial bullshit. But I think we talked about it in a couple of episodes where the only reason that money has any value whatsoever, Bitcoin has any value whatsoever, is because we ascribe value to it.
Exactly.
It's because we all agree that this dollar is worth X amount of value.
Right.
And if you can control the perceived value of anything, then you hold a fuck ton of power.
Exactly.
So, but sticking with Twitter,
and I encourage people. I mean, one second. I encourage people to, and just to dig on that, because there's a lot that's been written about that and that just happened. So don't take what my whatever amalgamation of what I read and heard as what it is. Go read about it, because it's fucking really cool.
Well, okay. Mini segue before I continue on with Twitter, because I have a story from Twitter as well.
Nice.
But just to let people know, and I believe it was 1913 when the Federal Reserve was officially made an entity, and it is not a federal company. It is not a United States property. It is an independently owned entity.
Black woman. All right.
It is a strong, independent black woman. No, but the Federal Reserve is independently owned. It is not. It has, again, words have power. It's the whole smoke and mirrors. You hear Federal Reserve and you think, oh, that's part of the U.S. government. No, It is not. But also the same, I think almost the exact same time the Federal Reserve was created, the IRS was also created. We had taxes prior to the IRS. However, when the Federal Reserve became an entity, they lend out money to the United States with interest, and the United States has to pay that money back with interest. Well, in order to pay that money back to the Federal Reserve, the U.S. government has to become a business. Well, how is the U.S. government going to take in money? Well, from the United States citizenry, hence the IRS.
So they work together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, I will do a deep dive. I will send you a briefing.
I didn't know that.
I did
not know that about the Federal Reserve.
Again, I've been like swimming the waters of conspiracy, man.
I know.
You don't even know.
No, I don't. I really don't.
I don't know. But I laugh about it again. We are airing this episode on Thanksgiving, and I want to say that regardless of all the conspiracies and both real and imagined, I am, and as shitty as our government is, I'm glad and I'm thankful that I live in the country that I do.
Amen, brother.
So regardless of all that, happy Thanksgiving, you bunch of douchebags.
Happy tank giving.
Thanks. Slapsgiving. That was a great show. Was it How I Met Your Mother? Slapsgiving. Just look up Slapsgiving later.
All right.
But staying with Twitter, so everybody at this point must realize, because it's been huge news, Elon Musk bought Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Well, civil rights groups say Musk broke promises. Urge ad boycott over Trump Twitter ruling. So the Trumpster,
did he do a poll?
The Trumpster is back.
Saw that.
He is back. And you know what? You can say what you want, and all these activists can say what they want. These civil rights leaders can say whatever they want. But look, everybody on there has said something ridiculously hate-filled at some point, or they've been blatantly wrong about something at some point, and they didn't get booted off.
Right.
You know, look, Musk, they said that like civil rights groups say that Musk broke promises, but I'm sitting here going, well, he purchased Twitter. I think it was kind of a joke that he just kind of stumbled into it and ended up exposing all the bots that were involved, the fake accounts. But now you've got, you know, he bought it and he was advertising that. He was like, you know, this needs to be a beacon of free speech, First Amendment, unless, you know, you're actively threatening violence or inciting violence or whatever. But now you got the NAACP president, Derek Johnson, tweeting, any advertisers still funding Twitter should immediately pause all advertising now. Just because of this.
Because we don't like him. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. Like, I watched a video. I literally just watched a clip of Bill Maher sitting down with Kid Rock. So, like, I mean, yeah, it's two white dudes, but I mean, we're talking about political barriers here. I mean,
Well,
I like when you say broke promises, it seems like I remember seeing like a article written where he had a meeting with, or they had wanted to have a meeting with him. Somehow it was set up to where he had a meeting with like civil rights leaders about this issue.
Yeah.
This issue, non-issue thing, like months back. And it's like, I guess from my view, like it's a non-issue thing.
Again, I'm not on Twitter anyway, so
Right.
I don't like. Brain Snacks is technically on Twitter, but I'm literally just sharing the flyers and posts that I make on Instagram to Twitter.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I don't even open the Twitter app anymore. But you are correct in that, because a quote from the Anti-Defamation League vice president, Yael Eisenstadt, great name, by the way. He quoted, we got a commitment he wouldn't replatform anyone until he had a transparent process. It is pretty clear that doing a Twitter poll is not a transparent process, especially because there's no information about who voted in the poll.
Well, we're just
Now,
talking
I would like-
about like I get that, but like, how much does that really change anything? Like, it doesn't affect, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess if you're sitting there bothering yourself about it, it's going to affect you, but like, why do we need to have people go to to give their social security number to give their fucking opinion about whether somebody should be on Twitter? I mean, dear Lord, what the hell?
I would like to point out that, you know, the civil rights activists, and I think it was the NAACP when they first came out, they defended anybody when it came to free speech and civil rights.
Yeah, Martin Luther King, all right? He literally, his keystone was that you had to love everybody. You didn't have to like everybody, but you had to love everybody.
I can't remember if it was the NAACP. I'm pretty sure it was the NAACP. But it was basically defending people's constitutional rights to speak their mind, First Amendment style. And it was a bunch of Jewish lawyers that were actually defending Klan members, Ku Klux Klan members, and Nazi sympathizers, defending their right to say hateful shit about Jewish people or people of color.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I could be incorrect with the NAACP. I know it was one of the civil rights early initiatives. And like, it's just ridiculous how far we've come as a nation, but also looking at how open-minded we were back in the day, like to everybody having an equal voice, versus now it's like almost flip-flopped.
Well, now
it's all about censoring somebody's opinion or somebody's voice, which I'm not saying that everybody should have.
Well, I'm hesitant to sit here as a white dude. You know, there's that whole thing. Like, I don't even give a shit. Like, I'm not going to sit here and give my raw opinions about. I got to be very careful because I don't want to give my raw opinions about. I'm not bringing race into this at no point ever. Never want to. But I feel like if I even say anything about race, like, I'm a white guy, so shut up. So I will do that. But to what you're saying, in the past, I think maybe these groups had their finger on what free speech is way more than they do now.
Yeah.
As a whole, because to me, it's a hard line thing. Like, it's not like that there is no like really clauses of elasticity in free speech other than the hard rules we set up about violence and whatnots. I mean, there's people that debate till they're blue in the face about, well, that's, hate speech or whatever, but you really, at the end of the day, can't define that. I mean, like, you can't define that kind of stuff. Like, and if it's about you opening your mouth and saying something, it's a hard thing. It's like a light switch. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not it's not free speech at so-and-so's discretion. It's free speech. And that's the whole point. Like, Elon, I guess, spent however much money to try and get that hard thing, I think, Yeah. Like, he's going to do that by and large. I mean,
there's always going to be dissenting opinions or people that don't agree with a decision, and that's fine.
That's the point.
Exactly. You want to counter anything that Trump says, and Trump said that he doesn't have any plans to actually return to Twitter. He actually stated that he doesn't plan to return to Twitter. But in the event that he does, I mean, why not just, you have, let's say, the Color of Change president, Rashad Robinson, who said this is not a game. These decisions affect people, and they shouldn't be up to Elon Musk's personal whims or a random Twitter poll about whether or not Trump, who incited a violent insurrection when he was the last on the platform, is allowed a free pass to spread more racist lies.
And I would add to that and say it also shouldn't be up to you.
He can say that, but here's a lot of people's counter argument is like, anytime that Trump posts something, why doesn't, set your notifications for, hey, Trump just tweeted, and you have the Color of Change president, Rashad Robinson, go on there and say, this is bullshit, you're racist, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you're going to do that.
It's okay. It's okay for him to say stuff like that, but it's not okay for Trump to have any opinion or any presence. And again, I don't give two shits about fucking Trump. Just to clarify, again, I think he's a worthless wannabe politician and a power hungry maniac. But we can get off of this now. No more.
No. I mean, I was just going to let that air out because I don't have anything to add. I mean, I think but this right here is just not even about that's what I'm saying. It's like a kid. It's like sitting down. It's like, no, what I'm trying to tell you is it's either this way or this way. It's not your way. It's this way. This is the way. Like, this is how it is. And the problem isn't that the free speech isn't the problem. The problem is that you don't like it.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do about that? Well, that's up to you. You either don't you don't consume, you don't listen, or you get out there and give yours, because you also have it too. I mean, that's
counter an argument with a better argument.
Yeah, like what happened to Martin Luther King? Well, now Martin Luther King seems to be
the CIA.
Martin Luther King has been fucking replaced in. Like I said, I'm not gonna say whatever I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna address Black America, but I'm gonna say that Martin Luther King has been replaced with fucking fake Hollywood fucking narratives about black people. Like fucking Black Panther is the fucking new Martin Luther King, and you know what I mean? Like, if you look back, I mean, that was a man of substance. Like, I would be so curious to see, him or someone like him. I mean, I don't want to be, I don't want to idolize people, but those ideals are far more like virtuous, than just like the slop that gets produced now. Like, all these whiny people. I don't care what side you're on. I mean, these fucking, red state whiny, suburban whiny moms all the time too, like just crying about the dumbest stuff ever because they're in a fucking loveless marriage, and they're trying to figure out something they can do. Yeah. I mean, there's that too, but we're talking about this. So
moving right along.
How careful do we have to be?
Tiptoe around the issue.
Yeah, right. The only other thing would be that I saw on Fox, and it just happened to be on Fox. I Googled, because this is a Thanksgiving episode, I was thinking, I wonder what the mainstream wants me to think about Thanksgiving right now. Like, so I Googled Thanksgiving story, like what's going on. Obviously, there's a bunch of travel stuff, but like the 4th or 5th article happened to be Fox News, and it was a press conference that was held today, which today's Tuesday. And they were the White House, the message from the White House, and like I forget the guy's name. It's like 3 letters. He's like an Indian guy or something. I don't know, but he's up there with Fauci normally, and they're pushing that. They're encouraging, obviously, Americans to keep getting vaccinated and get vaccinated faster, because winter is coming. And the funny part was that they were like, and we encourage, it specifically said that they encourage us to talk about this shit at our Thanksgiving dinners. And I'm like, dude, what are you, like, get out of my house. Like, like, get out of my house, you creep.
So have you heard about they tried it, and I haven't really seen much more on it, but they tried to push that it was going to be a tripledemic.
Yes, I saw that on NPR, because I go there too.
Thank you NPR for that bullshit.
Yeah,
but no, it was the flu.
The flu's back.
The flu's back. But the flu, it's the COVID with like 2 prominent variants that apparently exhibit symptoms that are almost identical to either a mild flu or a cold, which a cold is a coronavirus anyway, by the way. But in addition to that, there's some childhood illness or virus that's been going around. And I'm going, okay, so maybe the kid's getting sick. Yeah, we should pay attention to that. But it's now a tripledemic.
Yeah,
like, dude,
love buzz. People love buzzwords.
Let it go, man. Look. The vast majority of American society, the world in general, are like, we're over it. Like, we've seen the bullshit through the bullshit for the most part. We know that it's a bunch of fucking bullshit, and that, look, I haven't gotten vaccinated. Not once. No single jab, no double jab, no triple, quadruple boosted. And I think I may have I never tested positive because I wasn't going to test it. But the one time that I felt like I might be sick from during the height of the Rona, I didn't go anywhere. I stayed home. I was responsible. But you know what? If I had the flu, I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's like, whatever, but it was so funny. Like, that article was what it was like. It was like reading, that whoever was quoting, they were quoting all these passages about the things that go on during Thanksgiving time and how this was in the Tripledemic article or whatever.
Oh,
it was like the whole angle of that was like there's going to be lots of laughter and people really close together and this is awful. You know, and I'm like, man,
anything.
I'm like,
again, this
goes back. This ain't
to
a fucking horror movie, man. Like,
this goes back to conspiracies. They want us to be afraid of spending time with each other. They want us to be afraid of your fellow human being.
They want me afraid to come give you a kiss. I mean, that's sad.
I will say this. So I went out to Chrissy's not coming to the show tomorrow. She's been crafting it up at the house. She's been doing some really cool stuff, by the way. But it's, I went out to go shopping to buy the fixins for Thanksgiving dinner, which she wanted to prepare. And I went out and there's still people wearing masks. And I mean like young, fit people as well as older people. And I'm still just going, okay. Again, you do you, boo-boo. But what kind of long-term psychological damage did the pandemic do to society as a whole, not just American society?
That was like one of the first things I remember hearing was like, since all this has happened, there are going to be people who don't ever come back. You know, like they are going to carry that around with them as some kind of little chip.
Yep.
You know, because everybody wants to be a good boy or girl. You know, and that's what what a lot of this shit is like, it's not that you're really interested in learning about how effective is that? How effective is the mask? Honestly, now that we have science works in a funny way, you know, like the more time that passes, the more we seem to know, you know, and like there's this whole truth pool where people are just sharing ideas and they're just up for you to either say or nah. There's that pool, and then there's the pool that's like, we follow the science and we're on Good Morning America and we're telling you, and this is just, and you're just a good little, aren't you so, you know, and everybody just like wants, some people want to be better than somebody or good or whatever, and it's just like, okay, whatever. You know,
well, sticking with some virality. Did you see? Have you ever seen the movie Outbreak?
No.
Okay, so great movie, by the way. You should totally watch it. But it was made in the early 90s, and it was about an isolated epidemic of a very rare disease, virus, rapid killing,
spontaneous combustion.
Yeah, no, I wish that would have been awesome. Self-immolation, but no. But the cause of that outbreak was a monkey. It was a little monkey, little outbreak monkey. Okay. Yeah, it is adorable, like a capuchin monkey, like the one from Ace Ventura. I don't know if you remember the monkey from Ace Ventura. Like it's a capuchin monkey.
All right.
Well, feds, according to CBS News, feds charge 8 with smuggling endangered monkeys into United States, including a Cambodian wildlife official. Now, this is from Miami. Federal prosecutors have charged 8 people with smuggling endangered monkeys, including a Cambodian wildlife official who was arrested in the United States while traveling to a conference on protecting endangered species. Now, these monkeys, and this is one of the reasons why I picked this story specifically, the macaque is already recognized. That's right. The monkey is the name macaque.
All right.
The macaque is already recognized as an endangered species by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. The practice of illegally taking them from their habitat to end up in a lab is something we need to stop. Greed should never come before responsible conservation. Now there was something like the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries officials received cash payments of $220 each in exchange for a collection quota of 3,000 unofficial monkeys. Wild populations of long-tailed macaques, long tail, as well as the health and well-being of the American public, are put at risk with these animals when these animals are removed from their natural habitat and illegally sold in the United States and elsewhere. So there are definitely some issues with, viruses or bacteria, viruses specifically, though, jumping species. That's supposedly what happened with COVID.
Right.
Even though, again, lab leak is still the more probable start of that pandemic.
Right.
But you're talking a very similar storyline where, in the Outbreak movie, it was a capuchin monkey that was smuggled into California via South America, aka Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And then this monkey scratched somebody. That person got sick, passed it to somebody else, passed it to somebody else. And then this whole town pretty much got locked down.
And these monkeys are pissed off too.
Oh, these monkeys are not happy.
These monkeys are ready to scratch.
Yeah. So again,
maybe whoever wrote Outbreak was channeling the muses of the galaxy, and somewhere in that they downloaded a piece of the future.
Well,
but they got it a little wrong. But they're like, no, but now this is how it really happens, and it's finna happen.
I will. Here's a spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen Outbreak, and this doesn't mean you shouldn't watch it because it's still an excellent movie. But it turns out that the monkey contracted the disease, and the disease mutated from a biological weapon experiment done by the United States in South America.
That's how he got it.
Yep.
So we did
spoiler alert
to ourselves.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Because we're so stupid.
We want to play God. You want to play God?
And God was like, hold my beer.
hold my beer.
Let me do something real quick.
Yeah, and the president of the United States was going to drop a thermonuclear device on the town that was quarantined to stop the spread because it was like Ebola on crack, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's all I got for today. I just wanted to end with again, we were talking about COVID and the Tripledemic, and I'm just going, oh, I get to talk about macaques. Oh, this is gonna be awesome.
Oh my god. Well, since we're ending the episode, I just want to say from me to you, have a good Thanksgiving. Don't listen to whatever the hell is telling you not to enjoy Thanksgiving or enjoy the company of people you love, regardless of their pre-existing conditions or anything like that. Give them a hug, lick them on the face, spread that shit. Let's do it again, y'all. We did it once.
Give your conspiracy theorist Uncle Terry a great big hug from us. We want to thank you guys. We are thankful for our listeners and viewers. I am thankful for you, my brother Jackson.
Thankful for you, man.
I am thankful for my wonderful wife for putting up with me. And again, I'm thankful despite how much I distrust and hate the United States government. I'm still thankful to be a United States citizen. So, you guys go forth.
Can you see
long-tailed macaques in the trees?
I think I see one.
I see one.
I don't see him, but I hear him.
But thank you guys. Again, we are eternally grateful for you guys tuning in every week. All the love in the world. Go forth. Be thankful for what you have. And try to not be like me. And try to be less of a dick. Because apparently I can't hold it in all the time.
Oh my God. We just people, y'all.
We just people. We just people in
just
China
people.
All the love in the world, guys. Y'all have a good one. Go to brainsnackspodcast.com. Peace. Y'all have a
ya.
good one. That's good.
It's pretty good.
How you like my cocks?